Hi, I'm Carrie George with CIBN Connect, and you have found us at CIBN TV. Make sure to subscribe. Today, I am super excited because I'm sitting here with one of our brand new sponsors to CIBN Connect, and she is becoming a mentor to our community. So you're going to want to watch along and see all you can find out about our guest today, and she's ready to join me here in our studio. All right, I'm introducing to our network, Bonnie Powers from Powers Consulting. We're so glad to have you with us, Bonnie, and I know that you are going to have a significant role in our upcoming summit, Bold, Beautiful, and in Business, and also a role in mentoring women of our Bold, Beautiful, and Business section of CIBN. So we're super thrilled about that. Can you tell us a little bit about your business and what you do?
We help small business owners who are navigating growth of their business. So we help them develop effective, strong teams in leadership. We believe that leadership is deeply intertwined with self-awareness and daily influence. And we use something called the DISC profiling to help you understand how you communicate, what drives you will drive others. And we believe that what drives you directly impacts how you influence your team and your customers. So through a tailored powers management and leadership program, we take functional things. These are things that are not really inherent in you, but things that can be learned and developed along with what drives and motivates you, that will really bring you past that potential, past that plateau, and really bring you into where you want to be. So we just partner with you and help you become the best that you can be and really bring your team along in leadership.
I love DISC assessment. Actually, it's been something that's we've used in the past to grow our organization, and it's so it gives you such revelations about yourself and about the people that you're working with, in our case, even our community. So I love to see that in the network and have an expert who really knows and understands that and can lead us in, how we can be better at communicating with each other and understanding one another. It's a huge, huge thing that is needed in so many organizations. So thank you for your work on that. I know as well that you have a huge financial background and that you have a lot of insight in finances because of that. Can you tell me a little bit about your financial background?
So I think, like a lot of people who are really good with numbers or math, that you think that you should become an accountant or a bookkeeper or something that really adds 1 and 1 makes 2 so that you can really move forward. So I became a certified management accountant through many years of education. It takes quite a bit to get there. I also have a few other designations that I felt that I needed to help me move along my path in finances. So I became a certified internal auditor, a certified information systems auditor, and a certified internal auditor. So I did all of those things and progressed quite well in my career. Some of the companies that I've worked for that you will probably recognize, especially if you're in Canada, the BRIC group of companies. Sobey's was another one that I'd worked for. I worked for Phoenix Insurance Group, which eventually became Hub Insurance. I worked as a controller, financial director, various other things, and I just really love to see companies expand and grow and become better at what they were doing. And the other thing that I love to do with my financial background is help non-financial managers really understand the numbers, what drives them, what makes the difference, how they could make a difference. So I've done that for like 25 years. I own my own accounting firm for a number of years, help small and medium-sized businesses scale their businesses, do their taxes, understand their numbers as well. So I've had quite a bit of a background in finance.
Awesome. And I know some people might not know those names if they're our US clients, but I want to tell you the BRIC and Sobey's are two major, huge companies in the Canadian market. In fact, I just bought a brand new bed from the Brick last week. That is, it's a furniture store, and with multiple locations across the country. And of course, the biggest of furniture stores is the Brick, I think, in Canada. And then Sobey's is one of our largest grocery chains. So, really well-known brands here. So you've been in some really big markets there with helping, conglomerates grow those businesses. And that means you have a lot of wisdom to bring to the network and to the small business owner. Because a lot of times when we're dealing with small business owners, they're not thinking about their business as a big business. And as a result, they are, sometimes making decisions like on the spot and spontaneously and not planning for the future. And you were talking about the numbers, and knowing the numbers of your business and having done all of those roles as a CPA, as a consultant, as somebody who's worked with bigger companies. Man, you must have a lot of insight into, what the numbers should look like for a company. Do you want to just maybe talk about that for a minute?
Oh, absolutely. It's so usual for people to look at a number and say, oh, we made this much in sales, but they really don't understand the impact of that number and what all of the costs that go into that. They also don't know how to scale those numbers to going from maybe $50,000 in annual revenue to $500,000 in annual revenue, and what that really means and how to make those numbers align. I think a lot of businesses, not just small businesses, but larger businesses too, make decisions based on gut or what other people tell them without really understanding that 1 and 1 is always going to equal 2, and there are always going to be taxes or consequences to making those decisions. So, and it doesn't really matter if you're a big business or a small business, if you don't understand your numbers and the impact of the numbers, success is going to be something that is out there floating, or you may be successful and not even know why, and then you're in a position where you can't scale your business. So I think that those are probably 2 of the most important reasons to understand your numbers.
I love that. We're dealing with business owners of all kinds at CIBN. There's small ones, there's big ones, there's solopreneurs, a lot of people coming into the network, and they have a small business, and maybe they're doing like 20,000, 50,000, 100,000. They're trying to get to the next level. And we're often, we've seen them getting stuck, along the way. And the numbers in their business is really important because it's telling, a story. It's telling like why they're stuck, but they often don't know to go look at the numbers. So it's great having professionals around us like yourself who can kind of guide in that. And I'm just so excited to have you as a mentor to the women of the network, because you've been there, you've done that 25 years, and you have done the small business thing. You've worked with a variety of other small businesses, and you've done the big business thing too, the big, conglomerate, the big company, and you've seen it from both ends. And so that brings a lot of wisdom to the table. So do you have any stories that you could tell us about some of these things along the way, as anything that comes to mind?
Well, there are a number of stories, and I could probably write an encyclopedia worth of things that have noticed. But what I'd really like to talk, that really resonates with me, is the breakthroughs that people make. So whether you're a large business, a medium-sized business, or a small business, you get those moments where you have those little chills inside of you, where you have just done the right thing. And then you want to go back and figure out, okay, this is so fantastic. Why is it that way? And watching people move that direction is phenomenal. The other thing that I don't know if I love seeing, but it's an opportunity when people are struggling to actually, and it doesn't matter if you're in a small business or a large business, but if you're struggling in your career or your personal life, it all comes and shows up almost always in the same way. The language may be a little different, but the feelings are the same. So I would like to, I think one of my favorite stories is when I was working for Sobey's, and my boss was, of course, the chief financial officer. And he would use, when I would do something that he didn't agree with or something that we had to talk about, he'd always send me a little email and say, Bonnie, I think we have an educational opportunity here. And so that was one of the best things that I learned, is always when people are learning and growing, that is really an educational opportunity. Whether it's a mistake doesn't matter. What matters is that you can learn from what happened.
I love that. He had such a nice way of framing that.
Yeah, not
Have an educational opportunity here, and say, instead of saying, "Hey, I think you did that wrong."
Yeah.
That's great. That's a good manager. So and it's something we can learn from in our own business too, because I know sometimes, we get used to working by ourselves, and then we get working with one other person or a VA, and it's challenging because we want to tell them, just do it this way. So that's a good lesson for us there today. One of the things I wanted to ask you is, like, why do you do what you do? What is it that drives you, that gets you up every day and makes you excited about what you're doing?
Great question. What makes me excited is to see people change, to really take flight and understand who they are and why they're doing what they're doing. To see that light go on in somebody's eyes. I can remember when I worked for the Don Wheaton group of companies for a number of years as well. So they're a huge car dealership. They have a bank, they have an insurance company, they have a warranty company. And I was working with one of the people there, and she was having real difficulty doing her job. And so I was coaching her, trying to get her to figure it out. And I knew that she could never do that job. So I was talking to her, and I said, this will be your last time here. You'll have to find something else to do, because this is not what you need to do. And she was really upset with me. She came back a couple of years later, and she was taking architecture, and she thanked me for opening her eyes. So I think that's one of the things that is like, you can see things in people and they're struggling and they need to go a different direction. If you can assist them to go in that direction, this just, I don't know, lights on and flashing for me. I love it.
Yeah, I love that. I've had those moments too, when you're working with somebody and you realize that they're trying to do something that's not in their capacity, or maybe it's not the right timing in the market for it. I know when I'm dealing with entrepreneurs and solopreneurs, I can think of an instance where I had a lady also was trying to pursue a path that was a business model that was really just not profitable. And, it's not the easiest conversation sometimes to have with somebody and say, hey, I'm not sure this is the right path for you. Have you considered this, or have you considered that? It can be an awkward moment, but it is a life-changing moment for them when they, receive that and go, you know what, I think there's something else here. And for her, it was the launching of a whole new business, which became incredibly successful. So, sometimes those tough conversations help. And that's what a mentor does. A mentor has tough conversations sometimes with people. It's not always the fluff and the happy things of, oh, yeah, let me share how to do this. And, we can move you forward in this way. There's also sometimes those tough conversations, and real mentorship requires some tough conversations. And I think you've had some experience in that. So,
Yes. Well, I think too, Carrie, that, and that's why I love using the DISC analysis along with functional training, because the DISC analysis tells you who you are, what actually is really driving you, what motivates you, what makes you want to do what you want to do. And when you figure that out, then it's easy to put in the functional training. Okay, I need strategic planning skills. I need leadership development courses. I need a communication path. So you can build those things in with the DISC. And I think that's why leadership and management training are so critical, not only for the small business owner, but anybody who has a team around them. And who doesn't have a team? We all have families, right? We all have teams somewhere around us. So,
yes, that's true. Yeah, and I was just thinking too that as we learn and we grow, and we've been talking a bit about the, getting stuck and becoming unstuck, and the scaling of a business through the numbers and that kind of thing. Is this stuff, is this relevant or helpful for those that are thinking of, selling their business or moving on from business as well, to get to that next step for, sustaining it or passing on to somebody else?
Well, I mean, now we've come to the baby boomers are all leaving the world, right? We're ready to relax and go. So yeah, so a lot of people are leaving businesses just because it's time. So to have their business in a position where it's saleable or ready to pass on, it has to be scaled properly. And you have to understand what drives your business. So that is extremely important as well. And understanding, again, your drivers and your motivators may change. Your basic personality, your basic character is never going to change, but things that drive and motivate you will change. So you may start out doing something smaller and realize, oh, this is kind of what I want to do. I want to be on my own, but I need to go in this path. And so we can help people go that way. We can also help them set their business up for success for somebody else to take it over, be it a family member or putting it on the marketplace for sale. I helped a lady with a Montessori school who was trying to sell her business because she no longer wanted the administration part of it. She owned it, but she didn't like all of that. What she wanted to do was just teach children. So we helped her scale her business, and she was able to retain her role as a teacher in the business, but no longer running the administration and all of that kind of thing. So I think there's lots of things like that we can help people do.
That's brilliant. Yeah, and everybody's at a different place. So I mean, it's great because you can start, with some people they need little things. Some people they need big things. Sometimes it's change, transition that's important, scaling, growth, all those things along the way. But then there's, how do you move into the next stage of whatever that stage might be? Because we go through, I think, especially as women, we have these seasons in our life that we're working through. And, things look different when you're a young mom to what they look like later when you're, in that career role, or earlier when you're in a career role and then moving again into something else. Maybe you could talk a little bit about the stages that women go through and how your work has impacted that.
Well, I don't know if I should talk about my stages because my stages might be a little bit different than your stages. I did it kind of backwards. So I was one of those women who got married and had my family and then got educated and then started my career in corporate Canada. When I was in that corporate world, what I felt like I needed to be successful was to be the finance head of a very large organization. My driving force to that was to find a job that I could do really, really well and move up quickly, which I became the corporate controller for the Brick Group. When I was standing in the boardroom talking about the financial statements, talking about the IPO, the public offering, and that kind of a thing, I felt strong and powerful, and I always had to wear because I'm a very short person, so I would wear 3-inch heels so I could feel taller and bigger in the room. But that wasn't satisfying for me in the long run. It didn't feel my soul, because as much as you make a company successful, for me, what was a driving force for me was making people successful. So moving from corporate Canada and that professional into my own small business, helping small businesses succeed really was something that made it great for me. And I didn't have the family demands. So a lot of women start out with a career and are just gaining ground, and they get married and they have children, and it's very difficult to manage all of those different kinds of things. So I guess I'm saying that everybody isn't the same, but you have to recognize where you are and what's important to you at that time. And I don't know, Carrie, if you are or not, but I'm a firm believer that you can't do it all. You can have it all, but you can't do it all.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, there are seasons in our life when we have to respect some of those seasons, and some of them demand the respect. I mean, when you're raising the small children, I had three of them, and I raised them as a single mom for 17 years, and was a pastor running a church during that time. And so I know all the challenges of, trying to build a career and have the little kids, along with you in the process. And you're right, you can't do everything at once, and you have to choose sometimes, and especially when you're in certain periods of your life. I went through cancer last year, and that was another time where I had to make choices because there were things, going on that had to be dealt with. You couldn't ignore something like that. I know you've had those challenges as well with things, that came along in your life and career where you had to make those choices right now. And I think that's really good wisdom. We can't do everything at once. We have to sometimes departmentalize a little bit. And sometimes we just have to make choices. I'm doing this right now, and that's going to be my focus. And I'll move into that other thing later. There'll be a season for that.
Yeah. And I think it's really important for women to realize that success is different for everybody. So your definition of what is successful may not meet my definition of successful. And it's okay. It's okay to have a different meaning of what is success.
Yeah, absolutely it is. And there are different feelings around that success. I mean, today I look back and raising the kids and having them turn out right, and having a grandson that I'm incredibly proud of. Those are huge moments of feeling fulfillment, and that you've accomplished something wonderful, in that. And that's a very different feeling than, how the company has grown, right? Which is like another little baby that you've grown into something, but in a very different way, So all of that works together. That's amazing. So just to, and I want to be clear that today you help clients from the US, from Canada, from all around the world. There's really no borders to what you do today. So if somebody's listening along and going, oh, they're from Canada and they don't know how it is where we are, we have clients, lots of them from the US, from around the world as well. And these are based off of principles, not so much off of the nation in which we reside. So the principles work everywhere. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree. And I think what is really important is to recognize, and it's not so much it's the business customs that change a little bit. So you do have to be aware of the different customs in different nations, but for the most part, because we are so global now, it's really much easier. I can remember when I worked for the BRIC Group and we were starting a few companies in Asia, Malaysia, Thailand, China, and the business customs there were significantly different. The last contract I had was through a multinational organization who have locations in every country of every corner of the globe, and the customs have really reduced, so that you're working business to business. You just have a little bit of awareness of personal customs in each of the different countries that you're working with. But basically, when you're working with people are the same. It doesn't matter where you are. People are the same. People want to be successful. They want to be heard. If they're in leadership positions, mostly they want to do good. So yeah, wherever you are on the globe, we can help.
That's amazing. I was just thinking about that. We used to put a lot of emphasis in the 80s and the 90s on the different customs that were going on around the world. And you and I are old enough to remember this. And there was even movies about, the company starting in the US that had come from Tokyo, and, the customs were so different. I remember There was a fun comedy about that. And that was a big thing. But DISC assessment works worldwide. Right? I mean, that worldwide. Is worldwide. People have these basic personality types worldwide. So, it doesn't matter what country you come from. There's going to be the people that are really creative, and then there's some that are real doers, and then there's others that are, they're more reflective, and there's those that are like, introverts, and those that are extroverts. And these things are actually consistent right across the globe. Isn't that so?
It is. What may be a little bit different culturally is how you're perceived. So you may be an extrovert, and in some company and some cultures that's really accepted, whereas in other cultures you have to pull it back. So not only are you an extrovert, but you have to be aware of how you're perceived. And I think why that disc is so important, because it doesn't only tell you how you are and who you are, it tells you how other people are perceiving you, especially from their own distinct personality type, how you may be perceived by them.
That's brilliant and so helpful. I was introduced to personality styles early in my career. I was probably about 21 years old and in sales, and was given that information about how people are different. And it was a shocking revelation to me, because at the time, this was like the late 80s, early 90s. So I dressed like I was the love child of Madonna and Prince. Right? Which I thought was incredibly trendy at the time. I had big hair, massive earrings, bright red lipstick, the boldest colors possible. But my skirt was like short, like a Band-Aid, and so like it was, and when I look back and I think here was in a sales role trying to bring families together, and how ineffective that was, how frightening that was probably to some of my customers. So being introduced to personalities, actually made me realize, there's some adjustments I need to make in the market in order to be successful. So the sooner that entrepreneurs learn this, the better it is for them, because we see what we are, we see how others are, how they show up in the world, and how to relate and understand. And that is so powerful when we're trying to grow business or a team.
I think one of the other things that I really like about the DISC assessment and using it for functional training is oftentimes people have strengths, and what other people determine are weaknesses. And so they try to strengthen their weaknesses, which is just ridiculous when you think about it. My philosophy and my partner's philosophy is, yes, recognize your weaknesses, recognize where you have those gaps, and let's cover them off. You don't have to be good at everything. You just have to know where your gaps are, and you have to cover them appropriately. And that's another reason why I love having the functional training along with the DISC assessment, is because we can help you cover those gaps.
That's amazing, and I know now even more why you and I just see eye to eye on things, because I share that same philosophy. I used to try to, shove my round peg into a square hole and make it fit. And there came a point in the entrepreneurial journey where you had to realize, okay, this is who I am. This is why I'm not able to do that thing, because I am not suited for that thing. But I am really great at this thing over here, and I get paid really good money for that. So I should just do more of that and hire somebody to do this other thing that I'm no good at. For example, for me, it was the bookkeeping. Bookkeeping, house cleaning, these were things that I could get other people to do. I could pay people to do that. I could be better at what I love to do and earn a really good income from it. And that was it was so freeing, It is. It is when you come to the point where you realize that a wheel is round and turns, and you're part of that wheel. And if you have a bump in that wheel, that tire, you need to fill that bump so that your life will continue to turn. So when you're building your teams, be it your personal teams, your professional teams, your company teams, a lot of us are drawn to the people who are most liked in business. And we really have to understand, what do we need in our business? What do we need in our personal life to make that wheel go round smoothly so we don't get these bumps and hiccups along the way? I love that. That's awesome. Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground here today, and I think people are getting an idea of who you are and what it's like to work with you from our conversation. I want to thank you for coming and for being so transparent and sharing authentically with us, so we can kind of get a deeper picture into who Bonnie Powers is and what Powers Consulting is about. And so thank you so much for sharing with us. Is there anything that you'd like to add, or final thoughts of wisdom that you'd like to give any of our members before we close off today?
I think, especially for women, I just would like people to understand that who you are and what drives you and what motivates you is okay. It's actually exceptional. And to understand that and to build on that, be it in your personal life, be it in your community, or be it in your business. I really believe that women are the foundation of our communities, of our businesses, of our government. We can do it. And we can do it when we just take ownership and step up and be who we are meant to be. And I'd love to help people do that.
That's awesome. So I'm so thrilled that you are part of our network now, and you're going to be seeing a lot of Bonnie at our summits and different events that we have going on. And thank you so much for coming out, and let's just give you a big round of applause, and happy capitalism, everybody.
Thanks, Julie.